Hello, Sisters of the Force listeners. It is I, Seah, just dropping in to let you know that due to some software issues that we were having, this episode hasn't quite got the crisp, clear audio that you have come to expect from us. But the content is still top-notch, so see you on the other side. Psych! You thought you were getting a Clone Wars episode. Well, you are not.
You are listening to Sisters of the Force, however, and I am Branwen.
And I'm Seah.
But instead of continuing with our Clone Wars rewatch,
we've gone off-piste a little bit.
Yeah, we're making it up as we go along.
We are. It's our podcast. We'll do what we like.
I think that's going to be one of our catchphrases.
It already is.
But before we tell you about the exciting episode we do have for you today, don't forget to follow us on all of the places.
Yes. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if you are TikTok inclined. Is that a thing? I've decided it is.
Well, it turns out I'm a little bit TikTok inclined.
You're TikTok inclined. Oh, I'm not TikTok inclined yet. I could be persuaded. Also, Blue Sky?
And Blue Sky, yeah, which I have to say I've been very bad at keeping up to date. So apologies. And yeah. Spread the word, Sisters of the Force.
Maybe you could give us a cheeky little 5-star review. That would be great.
That would be awesome. But today, we do have a very exciting episide lined up for you.
We do.
At Force Fest in Cheltenham a few weeks ago, Seah and I met an absolutely inspirational creator.
Yes.
Who went through a massively life-changing event back in 2004 and came out with new perspective, new direction, and mind-bogglingly new skills.
Yeah. And just a sunshine in a human.
What a human. We stood in the corridor at Force Fest chatting to him for quite a long time and admiring his incredible work, which you're going to hear all about. And yeah, he was just so interesting and so kind. And yeah, we knew we needed to get him on the pod.
Yes.
Chances are, if you've been to any cons or Star Wars events in the UK recently, you might have stumbled across some of his work. And you might have even had the lucky opportunity to chat with him. But we really wanted to get him on the pod so that we could introduce him to all of you who don't know about him. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is Moe the Maker. Moe, welcome to Sisters of the Force. We're so excited to have you here.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm extremely excited.
Yay. Our first question is, we met you at Force Fest, which was a very Star Warsy event. So we wanted to know, what's your Star Wars origin point? Where did you first sort of get into Star Wars?
Oh, absolutely brilliant question. Yeah, Force Fest was really, really cool. And it was great meeting you two both. But my Star Wars story starts. I was born in the year of the Jedi, 1983. I remember I was sitting down in my living room once on BBC One. It was Christmas, and I remember A New Hope was on the TV. And I was just sitting there like, what is this? I remember seeing Vader coming in, and I seen the white halls, and I see him go up to Princess Leia, and I'm just like... And then hearing James L. Jones' voice, that was the first time I saw Star Wars. And my mum was like, yeah, this is Star Wars, this is this. And I was like, oh... I remember falling in love. The Vader helmet, the big black eyes, and I remember my sisters used to be afraid of Darth Vader. So every time they used to be on TV, because as you know, VHSs were new then. They were like what, £800 for a VHS player. We didn't have one, so it was like, please Star Wars, come on, please Star Wars, come on. And I remember, obviously, by that time, Return of the Jedi was still in the cinemas and stuff. So I didn't watch that then. I remember I watched The Empire Strikes Back. Then I watched Return of the Jedi when it finally came. I think I watched it in 1990 on TV, but it was obviously by that time. And then I recorded it on VHS at the time, and I was just like, I kept watching Return of the Jedi over and over again. I was obsessed with the speed of seeing it on Endor.
Yeah.
I got obsessed with the Ewoks and stuff. And at that time, I was just explaining to my nephew, I was like, we weren't spoiled for Star Wars visually. We weren't spoiled. You had the original trilogy, and there was a few books and stuff around, and that's all you had, and the toys.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you guys are spoiled in this way. And it's like, we had to wait. I had to sit there waiting for him, reading Radio Times and Christmas. Like, is Star Wars going to be on? Is Star Wars going to be on?
Totally, I remember doing that.
So yeah, that's my story.
It's true. We do need to keep reminding ourselves how lucky we are. I find that
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
When
yeah.
there's people online complaining about Disney and what have you, you don't know how lucky you are. It's incredible.
I said that exact same thing. I said, you have got Mando, you got Star Wars Vision, you got the whole original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy, you've got everything right there. You got Skeleton Crew, you got, it's just amazing. And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, man, going back to the 80s when I was sitting there like, this Star Wars going to be on.
And this is why our VHS tapes were just like worn out from being released.
Yeah.
Because that's what you had. You just had to keep
I did TV as a kid, so we used to rent a TV sometimes from the library.
Oh, yeah, you could, yeah.
Yeah, and my dad used to work at a university, so sometimes he would borrow the TV over the holidays.
Oh,
and, like,
amazing.
It was borrowing the TV and putting VHSs in.
Yeah, people don't understand, man. That is the hard days, man. The hard times.
They were quite hard times, it's true.
It was. And then I remember during the 90s when the Tazos in the Walker Street Theatre, the Star Wars ones. I was like, oh my God,
this is your vindication moment.
This is
we talked about them.
We talked about these on our first episode.
Wow. Oh, wow. I was, and then again, because it was so limited how much you could get. And then I remember getting my N64 and playing Shadows of the Empire, and I was like,
yes.
Oh.
I'm fighting Boba Fett.
Oh, wow. And the Battle of Hoth, and it was just like...
Incredible.
Incredible. So
good times.
Oh my gosh, great times. So we've only heard a small part of your story, really, but we are actually dying to know more about you. Could you tell us about the big turning point moment you experienced in 2004?
Oh, yes, I will. So in 2004, I was 20 years old. I'll have to go back a little bit. So the year 2000, I left school. And I remember the school telling my mum, like, you know, your son hasn't made his way to do any GCSEs. He's been having a difficult time in school and stuff. And my mum was like, so what's the options? And they were like, look, let him just finish school. Let him at least go past the line and then we'll see what happens there. So I went to Burger King and on the day I left school, and I went down to Burger King and I said to the manager, look, I've left school, I've got no GCSEs, but I'm hard working. I'm willing to work. And he says, all right, I'll give you a chance. Come in on Monday and we'll see how it goes. I was working in Burger King for 3 years, up to 2003. I left and I started doing some like temporary work and stuff.
Yeah.
2003, at the end of 2003, the last thing I remember was going to the cinema to watch Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's the last thing I remember.
Okay.
And then in October, around about the 14th, 2004, I remember waking up and I was in the QE in Birmingham, in the head trauma unit. And my mom and a lot of doctors and my family that I haven't seen for years was around me. They were all like, oh, you know, he's awake. And I was like, what? What's going on? And I remember the first thing I said to them was like, where's my chocolates? And they were like, what? What chocolates? And I was like, I had some chocolates. And then the doctor was like, look, Mo, we need to have a word and we need to sit down and talk to you, but we won't talk to you yet. We're going to move you back to the city hospital. We need to just monitor you for a few more weeks here.
Sure.
At that point, I was confused. Like, what's going on? My mom was like, you had tuberculosis and a rare bacterial meningitis in your brain. And I was just like,
oh, wow.
Okay, what's that? And they were like, it's deadly, but you should not be here. So I'm just like, well, I'm here, and you know what I mean? So I didn't realize why I was so, I was very, I don't know, I wasn't very nice. But my brain was all over the place. I went to the city hospital and the doctors came and sat down with me and they went, look, you had a rare bacterial meningitis with tuberculosis running riot in your brain. And we gave you a 50-50 chance. We said to your mom, tell your family, it's either death or brain damage. That's what they said. And I was like, well, I've got brain damage. He was like, yeah, all the right frontal lobe is grayed out, which means the brain's dead on that side. And we've inserted a VP shunt into your brain. And he says, when we put the VP shunt in, it caused even more damage.
Wow.
Down the side. So he said, but it was either that or death. So we just had to take the choice. And then I said, all right. He said, we're going to let you go home in about 3 weeks and we'll see how it goes. I went back in March 2005 and I walked in and the doctor looked at me like this. And he was like, are you all right, man? I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was like, he said, you're a walking miracle. He said, the last person that had that, they've got no limbs.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's serious. So then he said, what are you going to do with your life now? I want to go back to work. And he was like, no, you're not. And I said, I'm going to drive. He was like, no, you're not. And I was like, why? He was like, you've got a scarring on your brain. It's going to take about 10 years for the scarring to basically go into what they call encephalomalacia, which is official brain damage. So I was like, okay, so we don't know what's going to happen to you in the next 10 years.
Sure.
So I'm going to do a little time jump now. So that was 2005. In 2006, 7, I went to the doctor. I said, Doc, I can't smell and I can't taste. He was like, oh, yeah, that's normal. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're lucky. That's very minor. Some people go blind, loads of things. So he said, I'll just learn to work with that. And I said, okay, cool. And now a little bit more of a time jump. I kind of started looking for work, even though the doctor said not to work. I kind of like brushed the DWP off. I said, I don't want no disabilities. I want to go and work. And they were like, you shouldn't. And I was like, I'm going to work. I didn't tell my family and I got a job and I was working and my mum was like, look, just take it easy, started working. But then as I was working, standing on my feet for more than like 2 hours just killed me. I left, I went to the job centre and I said, look, what can I do? And they said, oh, you shouldn't be working anyway, but try and find something that fits around your disabilities and stuff. And as I said to you, I left school with no GCSEs. I wasn't creative. I didn't, my drawings were a joke. I got kicked out of my art class. One of the nights,
it was wild now, doesn't it?
yeah, it's insane. So, so I'm a massive gamer. So one of my favorite gaming franchises is Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
So the Majora's Mask, how much quality it has and stuff. And I was sitting there in my room, and me and my brother, we both played that in the year 2000 when it came out, and he saw me messing around on a piece of MDF wood, because my mom's actually a carpenter. She had loads of wood and stuff around. So I was throwing to my brother was laughing at me. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, I'm just messing around. And he was like, what? He said, oh, that kind of looks, what are you trying to draw Majora's Mask? And I was like, trying. And he was like, good luck with that. Now, I've got syncope, so I have blackouts.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're about 1 second, sometimes they can be 5 seconds, but it's long enough to cause major damage if you're doing something.
Yeah, of course.
So I blacked out and I sort of remember I was just sitting there drawing and my brother laughing. I woke up the next morning, my brother's rocking my legs at the bottom of the bed. And I'm like, what? And he's like, whoa, look at that. Did you do that? And I was like, what? And he's like, the drawing. I looked at the drawing. It was like nothing I've ever done before. Yeah. I keep telling people this and people are like, really? I'm like, I've got all the pictures, I've got everything to prove it. It's real. It's real. Yeah. And then he was like, I said, all right, if that was you, then you have to paint it. And I was like, no. I said, that looks so good because the drawing was like nothing I've ever done before. And he was like, just paint it, man. You got nothing to lose. See, a few nights later, again, because I was suffering these blackouts, but I didn't know why I was suffering them at the time.
Yeah.
And my brother came in the room again. He's like, let me see it. And I was like, there. And he was like, oh my God, dude, that's wicked. And I was like, yeah, is it? And he's like, yeah, you should do something with it. So then I decided to make a massive storage box with that on the front.
Wow. Cool.
And he was like, what are you going to do with that? You're going to paint it. And I decided I'm going to do more characters. So I've done the Skull Kid from the Majora's Mask. I've done the moon, which is coming down.
Yeah.
And I've done Link on the side.
Excellent.
And then I put it online and Zelda Informer, Zelda Universe, and I had over 85,000 impressions of people messaging me, how much you sending that box? So I'm like, I'm not sending it. I don't like, that's amazing. And then literally from there, it was like, I kind of see it like a tumbling. I just started doing loads of people's like, can you do Toy Story? Can you do this? Can you do that? I was like, I'll try. And then obviously I'm a huge Neil Blomkamp fan, District 9, Chappie. Yeah. I was at my ex's at the time and I was messing around with something and it kind of looked like Chappie's head. I was like, I just like I'm robot Chappie. And I made the head and then the head, I just was going to make a bust. And I was like, wow, this looks wicked. And I remember it was on my ATST. It was on there. And then I was like, I was looking at it in the shed and I was like, oh, why have I made the whole robot? Why have I made the full robot? How did I do it? And obviously my ex at the time was like, you can't make a full-blown robot. I was like, I'm going to do it. And I remember for the 6th day straight, I was in the shed just cutting, doing things. And then I called her out, I called my daughter out and my stepson at the time. And I said, guys, I I want to introduce you to somebody. And I'm like, somebody? I was like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you Chappie. And they're all like, whoa. Because he was all stood up. It was the first time I stood him up. And then I put it on Twitter and I added Neil Blomkamp and Weta Workshop, famous Weta Workshop. Nice. And Weta Workshop replied. And I was like,
oh my God.
And they were like, we love this, Moe. And then I got a message from Neil Blomkamp and he was like, when I commented, he was like, dude, he said, this is amazing. He said, oh, you know, get in touch and sort something out. I was like, what do you mean, sort something out? And then me and Neil Blomkamp started like messaging each other. Really lovely guy, such a legend. And then a few weeks later, I got a van coming to my house from FedEx. And it was props from the movie and stuff. I was just like, wow. Wow. But the HST and Chappie took me 6 years to make because I just had my daughter. She was really young. Yeah. And I was going back and forth and stuff. But once they were erected in the way, I started adding bits. Like I started adding a motor and electronics to Chappie so he could move and talk and stuff. Wow. I've got some features to add to the HST, but I'm not doing that yet. And then I made a pit droid. I made Anakin Skywalker's pod racer. I've made a small ATAT, which is a DVD storage and a light and an alarm as well. So when people come past there, it goes, oh yeah, all that was so cool. It just literally went crazy. And then obviously my story kind of like got out to the Hereford Times, and I didn't realize I'm a very humble person. I didn't look at it like that. And people were like, hold on, you woke out of a coma? Yeah, and I was like, yeah, and they were like, dude, that's like what? And then yeah, so I got a message from a lovely guy, Ed, and he was like, I run the media company, I think it's SWNS, and he was like, we just want to put your story out there. I think it's fantastic, and we just really think it's an inspiring story. It's really great. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And then on November the 5th, 2022, the Friday, the next morning I had my phone was ringing, Good Morning Britain, Daily Mail. I was like, what's going on? And they were like, your story? And then I got an email from, you get loads of spam emails all the time. And it was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he said, I'm a producer. I was like, oh, where from? And he's like, I'm a producer on the Drew Barrymore show. I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah. I was like, I said, look, leave me alone, man. I'm sick and tired of you scammers. And he's like, no, seriously, go and check me out. He said, I've been trying to contact you on your Facebook, on your Instagram, and I've just managed to get through. I was like, okay, cool. He said, I need you to sign something so Drew Barrymore can do a feature on you. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't hear nothing back for a time. And then Christmas Eve, he was like, oh, here's a link. And I was like, what is it? He's like, it's just Drew Barrymore talking about you. I was like, oh, okay. So it's been a roller coaster. And obviously we started doing my documentary. We are very close to the end. Very, very close to the end. We're hoping. Exciting. Yeah, very close. So it's called Moe the Maker, from Coma to Creative. And we've done my interview, my mom's interview. I met a lot of celebrities since the 2016, doing the Comic Cons and stuff. And hopefully I've got really close with a lot of really lovely people. Hopefully they're going to do a little segment on the documentary. Hopefully. We'll see. Nice. We'll see. Yeah, so that's right. And then I meet you wonderful ladies at the Falls Fest. So, and now we're all here having a Star Wars party.
Exactly. This is what this podcast is. It's just constant Star Wars.
Because I would talk for eternity if you don't stop me. Seriously.
No, that's incredible. This is why you're here. This is why, we loved meeting you at Falls Fest, and we got to see some of your work, and it literally blew our minds. Like, Seah came running up to me and said, you've got to come down this corridor. There's a General Grievous, and it's like life size. We're like, what? So we immediately fell in love with the work. And I loved your BD unit. You've got like a little BD droid. Which,
yeah.
From playing Fallen Order, it was like, oh my God, that speaks to me.
So
wonderful.
So cute.
How do you make these things? Like, what materials do you use? And you mentioned electronics. Did you know electronics before the coma, or is that something you've kind of got into as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because a lot of people, obviously, the 3D printing is massive right now. It's massive. Yeah. So I don't use 3D printing. But before I started drawing and stuff, when I used to make things, and I used to put stickers on them. So I used to make little keepsake boxes because my mom's a carpenter. She was helping. She was like, let's do some boxes together. I used to just put stickers on there. I used to, Disney stickers, Star Wars. That's all I used to do. Yeah. When I started drawing and just got to the point where I don't know, I'm like allergic to things like that. Like, I see 3D printing, like printing a picture. I don't know. I respect people because I know a lot of work goes into 3D. People think 3D printing, you print it, it's done. No, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I respect that, but I can't do it. I can't do it. So I look at something And I don't even measure. I just look and I judge by. So when I met Chappie, I looked at his visor, and I judged how far the eye visor is from his ear and the circular thing. I don't measure like that. I just and I draw quickly and then I cut out. I don't do none of that. So all my stuff's made from MDF, redwood pine, a bit of foam for certain little bits, and the clay. So General Grievous, very, very interesting. As we know, in the prequel trilogy, everything seemed futuristic. It just seemed curved and stuff.
Yeah.
So in General Grievous' face, he's very curved and smooth.
Yeah.
When I tell people that's made from wood, they're like, huh? Wood? I'm like, yeah. So what I've done is I had a flat piece of MDF board, drew General Grievous' face on the wood, but I drew it bigger than it would be on a normal drawing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And my mum was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm making General Grievous. And my mum was like, you're making that? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, all right, we'll see. Let's see where you're going with this. And I started drawing it. And then I started doing loads of lines down the face, lines across. My mum was like, what are you doing? I went out in the garden. I remember it was maybe early spring, so the sun was still setting quite early. And I cut the face out, and then I cut all the little blocks out. So by the end, General Grievous' face was loads of little blocks of MDF. And my mum was like, what are you doing, son? I said, just give me a second, just 1 second. So what I done, I stapled the back of them so that they could move.
Yeah.
So and then I glued it with hot glue, and then as the glue was thinking, I bent it into place.
You can curve it.
And then it dried, and then the face was there. And my mum was like, yeah, but that looks really rough. And I said, just wait. And then I put some filler in it and then put clay on top of it.
Yeah.
And then smoothed it out, done all the features and stuff. And my mum was like, whoa!
It's so mind-boggling. It's so like
magic.
The original group, like the detail and stuff. It sounds like you're really intuitive with it. Do you start a model and think, oh, this is how I'm going to do this? Or do you just figure things out as you go along? It sounds like you're quite intuitive.
Yeah, with Chappie and the HST, when I was doing it, I think it was meant to be about this big.
It's definitely bigger than that.
Yeah. With the walkers, I always start with the legs. Yeah. And I was doing the leg, and my daughter was running past back and forth, and my stepson was playing the Wii U at the time. And I was like, guys, excuse me, I'm trying to do something. And then I realized I had done the top bit of the leg really big, and I was like, okay, let me just carry on, even if it's just a model of the leg. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, I'll see. And then I remember I'd done it, and then I got into the shed, I cut it out, and it was there. It was like that high off the ground. I was like, oh, damn. And then I was just like, you know what, let me finish it. And I actually done the whole HST in 2 hours in terms of all the cutting and stuff.
Whoa.
All of those features, like the guns and stuff, that came later, but I just done it. And then my ex-wife was like, what the hell is that monster? I said, ma'am, that's an ATST. Right there. I was blown away. Because obviously with Return of the Jedi, Endor scene, when Chewie comes out in there, I love the 80s team. I love the attacks as well, but the 80s team, I just fell in love with it. Fell in love with R2-D2, fell in love with the 80s team, fell in love with the X-Wing. So good. Yeah. So I was like blown away with that, and I just keep posting pictures like, guys, look, I've got an 80s team, I've got an 80s team. So yeah, I love my models. I start, and the ideas just trickle, things just come in, and yeah, with Grievous, it took me 2 months to make him. Because
he's big. That's a short time.
Yeah. But I done it all in little pieces. So people are like, how do you pack this away? I'm like, his legs come off, his arms come off, his lightsabers come off, his head comes down. And they're like, oh yeah, I get it. His stand comes down. And when Grievous is packed down, he's about 2 foot by 3 foot square. But the people are like, he's massive when he's up. I'm like, yeah, man, like, engineering.
That's perfect for like doing cons and stuff and taking it around.
Yeah.
Just like carry them in a suitcase kind of thing. Where have you taken these things? Like we saw you at Force Fest. We know you've been to other cons. Like, have you been anywhere like unusual, or have you taken them outside the country? Or
no, not out of the country yet. I was told by the doctors that I might have issues flying far because I'm a shunt. But they've said to me now, because it's going to be 23 years this year.
Wow.
They said you've had no issues with your shunt. There should be no issues now. And I had one of the latest designs.
Yeah.
So they were like, you should be all right. But they said for my first holiday, I should go to like Malta, somewhere, Turkey, which is not far from the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and book something like that. Then they said the sun also gets used to different altitudes over time. So I said, okay, cool. I was driving through the Welsh mountains and oh my God, my head went,
oh no. Wow.
yeah. And I was like, I wanted to vomit. I wanted to go toilet. And my mum was like, are you all right? I was like, oh, I don't feel well. But as we started driving more, it got used to it.
It sort of evened itself out, yeah.
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 Obviously, it can kill you, if the pressure's wrong. But this isn't a programmable one. This is auto.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't traveled anyway. But I just recently started doing sketch cards and stuff. My friend Carl Jones is a really good, so talented artist. He's done a lot of kinds of stuff. He does the sketch cards and stuff. So he's kind of like, he's told me, oh, you should do some sketch cards. I'll have to show you that some. I'll send some in the WhatsApp group because it's top secret right now. But I'll show you. I'll show you what I've done.
Exclusively.
Yeah. So what I've done, I've done the famous Liverpool Comic Con.
Yeah.
Monopoly events. I've done Monopoly events, Midlands Comic Con the other day, and people were absolutely people were blown away. But my nephew was like, oh my God, look, everyone's going over to Grievous. But then everybody went over to BD1 and everybody went over to Chappie and everybody was like, oh my God, Chappie. So it was fantastic. I've done the Stars of Time, which obviously is the same people who do the Force Fest. I've done Creed conventions. I've done Creed conventions 3 or 4 weeks ago. But
cool.
I know the guy, George, and I said, George, look, I got General Grievous. No one has got a General Grievous. And he was like, I know. I said, nobody's got it. I said, let me bring my General Grievous. But he was so late that I wasn't on the list. When I got there, they was like, oh, you're not on the list. And I said, you guys, you're going to want me on this list. And they were like, oh, we'll see. So when they put me in a little corner near the Jabba the Hutt prop, which again is owned by a guy who works for Monopoly events. Mike is absolutely legendary guy. Really, really, really cool with him. And he was like, "Oh no, you're here." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You agree with stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So everybody's looking at me, putting these things up, but everybody's like, "What's he doing?" And I was like, and then as they start seeing the red grey cloak, they're like, "That's General Grievous." But the only issue was Static came out of the electronics, and his head wasn't turning that day. But I couldn't see it because I had set it up already. And I was like, they were like, look, you can't mess around with it now. We're opening the doors. So I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, there was a queue of about 172 people trying to get pictures with General Grievous. I was hoping to do more, all the cons out there. I'm available, man.
It's such a beautiful added part to the cons. It's so interesting. Apart from your personal story is interesting, but the actual work itself is unique. Like you said, nobody else has done a Grievous, and even if they had, it wouldn't be the same. There's something about the organicness of the way that you do it,
the
and
wood and the clay and stuff. It just makes it really beautiful.
It's really Star Warsy. I mean, what makes Star Wars unique is the sort of lived-in, hands-on, organicness of everything. That's what they're always striving to do.
Absolutely.
With the props and the designs and everything.
I'm going to admit something now. I'm actually terrified of life-size models of things quite often, but you were so lovely, and you the way you interacted with me, and then there was some little kids around as well that were getting a bit scared of Grievous, and I was having a conversation with them about not being scared of him, and he's okay. I'm cured, basically.
Thank you. That's good. That's a win.
I love the ATST. That was fine. I can get close to that. It was Grievous because he moves. I think that's what freaked me out. But I love
someone said to me so much about the eyes. His eyes.
Oh yeah.
Now I know a prop maker who was doing a film for Netflix last year, and I showed him the picture, and he was like, "How did you get his eyes like that?" And I was like, "All right, so I got a piece of cardboard, and I put glue over it to give it all the crispy." As you know, Grievous's skin's horrible, and I'm very good with paint blending. I'm very good. I don't know how.
Excellent.
I just look at, and I've done it, and he was like, "No way, that looks exactly like his eyes." I was like, "Yeah." It took me 3 hours to get all the paint blends, and then and he was like, whoa, that's awesome. So even when his eyes did scary, my mom was like, oh my God, he's proper scary.
Yeah.
Have you had any interaction with Lucasfilm at all? Do they know of you?
No, I probably do know, but because my General Grievous was they've done an article on my General Grievous in February 26th, and it went all over the world. I mean, I had some reporters from Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, some places in the deep south of America. Like, we've just put your Star Wars robot on our site. I'm like, okay, thank you. So yeah, I think people know about it.
It's getting out there. It's rippling out.
Yeah, it's out there. So, like, I didn't know my story was in the New York Post, and somebody messaged me on Instagram like, "Oh, I don't know you, but your thing's in the New York Post." I was like, "Oh, is it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then my sister lives in Canada, and she was like, "Oh, I just saw you in the newspaper." I was like, "Oh, okay." So people know. Yeah, so people know.
So good. What's been your most challenging thing that you've made so far?
Good question. I've got a Mandalorian N1 starfighter.
I saw that yesterday. I was looking up your website. Oh my God, I need to see this N1.
Yeah, I thought, because I've got Anakin Skywalker's Podway, so which is big. Not full size, but it's big. I just wanted to make a statement. I love the pod race scene. I love the pod race scene. So I was like, I need to make Anakin's pod racer. So I'm going to do a little Anakin as well to go inside of it. But right now it's just that. Then I thought after that, what am I going to do? I thought, when episode 1, The Phantom Menace, came out and George Lucas was promoting it, and I saw all the art, and I saw them doing the Naboo stuff. I just love the curviness. I love the right. It's just like, wow. Because as you know, the original trilogy, the Empire was tatty and stuff, and everything was rusty.
Yeah. It was very angular.
Yeah, pre-Empire, it was all fresh and new, and it was so I was obsessed with that. So when I saw the Mandalorian get the N1, I was like, that's so cool. I love that shit. So I was like, I'm going to make that. And my wife at the time was like, no, you're not. I was like, I'm going to make that. And I started. And I remember the day I started, I cut my thumb right open, cut the top of my finger. I cut another finger, and I was like, I can't do it. Went to the hospital. They were like, Mo, you've got diabetes. You need to, the moment you cut yourself, you need to come straight to us. And I was like, I'll be all right. And she was like, no, you need to. So I took a big break, about a month. And I would keep going in the shed and seeing the little shape that I had done already. And I was like, I can't finish it. And then I got the shape, because it's, as I said, it's really curved. It's really hot. This is all wood. So I done it. And then one of my stepson's friends came and he was like, oh my God, that looks amazing. I was like, all right, that's enough for me to finish this off now.
Finish it, yeah.
I remember getting it and then putting the turbines on. And I was like, oh, yeah, I gotta finish this. Well, it's 88% finished. I've got to do the cockpit, and at the back of the turbines, it has these pointy bits. I did make them, but when I moved out my old house, one of them snapped.
Okay.
So I thought, no, I'll do another one. But yeah, it's massive. It wouldn't have fit into that little area where I was. It's massive.
Where you were at Force Fest,
yeah. Yeah. No way. So I'm working on now ATRT.
Oh, lush. Yeah.
So I'm doing the one from the Mandalorian and Grogu. So yeah, that's going to be.
Oh, lush.
Can't wait to see that.
That's going to be.
Yeah, there's something about the N1. I think because in that Mando episode, it's in the Book of Boba Fett, isn't it, where we see him like, rebuilding it, and like because we see the making of it. I think we talked about it in the pod episode about it. It's one of the few times where you see something stripped back to its bend. And then built on top of it. I can imagine that being really inspiring to someone like you.
Yeah, it was so good. When I saw it, I was like, whoa! I didn't really doing this. I was like, yes. Somebody said to me, somebody was like, oh, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. They were like, oh, he hasn't got that anymore, but he has it in the,
if
you watch it,
he
still got it, yeah. So obviously he uses the Razor Crest to do his job, but he's still got his M1. I was like,
he's still got his boy Racer.
yeah. Sure. So I said, no, and also it's part of the law now, so you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's all good.
It's that. You mentioned the documentary From Coma to Creative earlier on. Tell us more about that. So is that being made at the moment, or are you? Because I think have you got a fundraiser for it that people can donate to?
Yes, we've got a GoFundMe for it. But as you know, projects go through different changes. They go through different groups and stuff. So when my story came out, I know a lot of filmmakers. one being Daniel Alexander from Birmingham, who done the Gale, the Wizard of Oz horror, brilliant film. Yeah. He said to me, he was like, Mo, you need to make a documentary about your story. But at the time, I was just living. I take every day as it comes on. I was like, why? He's like, your story is, I don't think you understand. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I think that was 2022, 2023. I was looking around, and anybody. And as you know, if you don't know the music industry and the movie industry, people are knuckleheads. Oh my God. They just don't want to help. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's like, isn't this what you do? It's like me opening a shop and customers coming to me going, no, I don't want your money. It's like, well, hold on. This is what you do. Why are you so stupid? Like, what's wrong with you? So, as you know, I know a lot of TV producers, because obviously I was on the TV show with Keith Levin, Lee Francis, absolutely legendary guy. I love that guy. And I know a lot of TV producers, and a lot of them have given me some good tips. A lot of them have said, look, do this, do that, don't do this, speak to this person, don't. So, absolutely legendary. I even spoke to, obviously, the director of Chappie, Neil Blomkamp. He was very, very helpful. Like I said, one of the greatest people I know, just legendary guy. Yeah. But he's just like, yeah, try that, don't do this. And just giving little tips and stuff. But it took until Christmas 2024. But at the time, I've got nothing to hide. I was homeless, you know what I mean? I was sleeping on my mom's chair, and it was rough. I've got sleep apnea, central sleep apnea, so I have a machine and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was rough, man. Rough. I was going through it. And I got contacted by a guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he was like, I can help you do your documentary. And long story short, he turned out to be a dud. But in the time of me having conversations with him, he introduced me to certain people in the industry that turned out to be really good. So it was a gift and a curse, I was saying. Then we started talking. My director now, William Osborne, is a prop maker, so he's done some big films, big props and stuff. But he was like, no, we can do this documentary. We can do it. Yeah. So he said, look, I'm going to get the team. I'm going to get some really good guys on it. And I said, okay, cool. I put some money away. We opened up the GoFundMe because, it's not all about, like, we want to put money in ourselves as well. It's not, I believe in this story. So we done it. And the people that did donate so far were fantastic. Family, friends, unknown people. And we got the first chapter done now. Obviously, my story is 100% me and my mom, really and truly. Yeah. Because, like I said, she was the one dealing with the hospital and the having to go back to my family and saying, he's going to die or he's going to this. And so the documentary is based on our book, which is out on Amazon. It's called A Numb Conversation and A Place Between Two Sides. It's actually me and my mom having a conversation about what happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the beginning is her. Literally, it's a tearjerker. Like, even when I'm reading it, I forget that it's my mom talking. And then it's me telling her everything that I went through. Like, believe it or not, I had the most craziest dreams and stuff in that coma. I didn't know what was going on, so I was sleeping. And then, so this is why it's called A Numb Conversation, and a place between two sides. Because I thought I was dead. I just like this. I'm gone. So the documentary is my mom talking about me being young, everything, and then it kind of slides into the Moe the Maker.
Yeah.
So my mom's interview's done, my interview's done. We've just got to get my sister in. And like I said, some of the people that I've met over the years and stuff, hopefully get them to do a little segment and that. But yes, it is nearly done. It's nearly finished. I've seen clips. I've watched 30, 40 minutes of it so far. Nice. And I have to say, my director here, William Osborne, is doing an amazing job. And the whole documentary team are absolutely legendary. And I can't wait for everybody to watch it. I can't wait. It's going to be, it's going to be awesome. So yeah.
We can't wait to see it. We're going to put links to the fundraiser and everything in the show notes.
Thank you.
And to the book and that, because people need to find out about you.
Definitely. Definitely.
Last sort of main question. What things have you learned in this sort of post-coma era of your life? I saw a brilliant quote, by the way, on your Instagram where you said, this life will throw absolutely everything it can at you like a game of Mario Kart, which made me laugh a lot. You must fight the onslaught with much more than brute strength, intelligence, skills, talents, endurance, patience, all of it. But you must never give in, ever. I mean, I'm just taking that away with me for the rest of my life. But what things have you learned? What is it sort of, what's changed in you?
Yeah, definitely. Like, before the coma, I'm 20 years old. You know what I mean? I'm listening to Linkin Park. I'm playing my GameCube. I'm chilling. You don't think about the darkness of this world, which is there. You just think, oh my God, fun, happiness, money, girls, chilling. And then you get hit with reality. And I see the coma, the illness, it was a blessing because it's made me look at life and everything. And even like my daughter, like she's my world. You know what I'm saying? So appreciation, patience, gratitude, love, family, friends, connections, all of those things are so important to me now. Like I have learned a multitude of things. I could go on all day and in depth in each of the things, but yeah, definitely gratitude and just learn to smile and learn to be happy even when it's raining. Just be happy. Everything's a blessing. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because when it's dark, you know it's going to be like when it rains. The rain's going to make the seeds grow. I always look at it like that, and yeah, I just love life no matter what. My mom said to me once, like, I had a cousin who died really young. He was 23. He had his whole life ahead of him. He was doing great things, and he just randomly died. It was 2001. He died, and my mom was like, your cousin or some of the other people who, if they could come back just for 1 second, they would. You're still here. Grab that moment. This is why when I do things, I put everything, I put all my energy into it, I also want to leave a legacy for my daughter and my nieces and nephews and stuff. It's like I took my nephew to the Comic Con because he's never been to a Comic Con like that with me, and he obviously he's into celebrities and he's into all those things. And obviously Steve Ogg from GTA was there, and he was like, "Oh my God!" This is it. And I think seeing the people come up to me and talk about my story with Grievous and stuff, because that was the first time he saw General Grievous up. He's only seen it in pictures, so when he saw it, he was like, "No way!" They're controlling his head and making him talk, and he's like. And then he said to me, he said, "Uncle, that was the best time I've ever had in my life." I said, "This is what it's all about, legacy." You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're the coolest uncle. You are the coolest uncle.
You are the coolest uncle, for sure.
You win the prize.
I try to be. But yes, I've learned so much, ladies, like so much, and grateful. Absolutely grateful. I'm most of all grateful to be with you two today and talking Star Wars stories.
So grateful to have you. Yeah. It was so lovely. Even just when we met you, your energy was just amazing.
Where can people find you, Moe? Where can we find you online?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Moe the Maker. It's just all in one, Moe the Maker. And on YouTube, the same, at Moe the Maker. And on Facebook, at Moe the Maker.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's all one word. Yeah.
We will link to all of your stuff. But thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on.
You have a lovely day. See you later.